And welcome to Hannity, and we begin tonight with the Fox News alert. Israel tonight is at war, a fight for its very survival after a barbaric terrorist attack, an invasion by Hamas, the deadliest attack in that country's history.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
And you heard in that video as women and children are being taken hostage. Allahu Akbar. Now, in just a minute, we're going to take you live to the ground where our very own Trey Yangst is standing by in southern Israel tonight. We're also monitoring the situation in northern Israel, where Hezbollah has directed a barrage of rockets into Israel. We'll also have a close eye on Gaza, the Hamas stronghold that is now smoldering after a massive bombing campaign by Israel, and it's only the beginning. We are told that a full-scale ground invasion with well over 100,000 troops, possibly as many as 300,000, is now imminent. Israel is fighting back against what is a savage enemy that wants to wipe them off the planet. Over the weekend, Hamas terrorists, they stormed southern Israel. They did it by air, land, and sea. They paraglided into a music festival where they slaughtered at least 260 young, unarmed concert goers, including one 30-year-old woman whose naked body was paraded around by Hamas terrorists while they were filming and cheering and chanting, once again, Allahu Akbar. Quote, interpretation, God is great. Other civilians, including children, they were bound, they were beaten, they were taken as hostages. In this video, a young woman is covered in blood, thrown into the back of a Jeep by several terrorists. Yeah, more chants of Allahu Akbar. And other Hamas terrorists went door to door in local towns, taking hostages, murdering entire families, shooting family pets, setting homes on fire. And in one hometown, by the way, in one home, to just over 1,000 people. That's over 100 dead bodies were just recovered. There are also reports that Hamas filming some of the more gruesome murders with the victims' own phones and then uploading that footage to the victims' social media platforms for all of their family and friends to see. Pretty evil. One such video purportedly showing Hamas shooting a little girl in front of her parents and then taking the rest of the family hostage. And also breaking today, Hamas is now openly threatening to execute hostages on camera, and that would include American citizens that are hostage, including the 9 that we have confirmed that are dead, Americans dead, as a result of this attack. The Rolling Stone magazine is now reporting tonight that dozens of Americans are now being held in Gaza by terrorists. And so far, well, actually, that figure has gone to 11 Americans among the 1,100 men, women, and children murdered by Hamas during the initial attack. And tonight, Israel doesn't just have the right to fight back. They have an obligation to eliminate every single member of Hamas and obliterate them. You want to look at this proportionally? Well, more people were killed in this full-scale terrorist invasion than during 9/11. Many have been saying this is Israel's 9/11. But if you look at the amount of people who live in Israel, this would be similar to killing more than 35,000 Americans in one day. On 9/11/01, 2,977 Americans were slaughtered that day, many thereafter with 9/11-related illnesses. But you do know what the Biden administration, you know what their first instinct was? To tell Israel, oh, please stand down. Just accept your fate. Look at this now deleted tweet from the weekend. Quote, we urge all sides to refrain from violence and retaliatory attacks. Terror and violence solve nothing. All sides? Excuse me? Retaliatory attacks? Oh, you can't fight back? All right, did Hamas write that tweet? Or do the people that work in the Biden White House, are they really just that stupid? If anyone ever killed the equivalent of 35,000 plus Americans, you don't think you would want your government to strike back with a fierce a fierce intensity, the likes of which nobody's ever seen before, because I know that would be my reaction. And today, your so-called president, he was nowhere to be found. He seemingly just took the day off. White House, they called the lid. That means you will not be hearing from the president again for the rest of the day. At about noon today, if you want to be exact, 11:51 a.m. Biden then attempted to shamelessly capitalize on these attacks. Oh, guess what we got about an hour ago? A news dump, releasing a statement confirming that Joe Biden has been questioned by the special counsel over his mishandling of classified documents. How convenient to do it when we're on the verge of an all-out war. Israel is now at war with Hamas and all their related organizations. And get this, Biden actually hosted a big party and a barbecue with a live band. American citizens, they're being tortured, they're being murdered in Gaza, and our greatest ally in the Middle East reels from an unprecedented terrorist attack, and Joe Biden's having a cookout. Pretty sick, but it gets worse. In 2021, Joe Biden sent nearly $400 million U.S. tax dollars to the Palestinian Authority, despite concerns from officials that money would boost Hamas and result in more terror attacks. Well, more recently, Biden gifted Iran. Remember that special deal, the $6 billion that they took out of what was a South Korean bank and moved it into a Qatar bank after asking the Muellers to pinky promise that they would only spend it on humanitarian projects, even though the president of Iran roundly rejected that publicly on NBC. Apparently, no one in the Biden administration, not our dumb president or vice president or secretary of state, seemed to realize money is fungible. What does that mean? In other words, OK, you take money that they would otherwise have to spend themselves, and that frees them up to continue to be the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism. So it is no surprise that Iran spent weeks helping Hamas plan, orchestrate this massive attack, according to a report this weekend in the Wall Street Journal. That's right, including the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. Now, of course, Iran, we know they're the #1 state sponsor of terror, and we know they've always funded Hamas and Hezbollah. Doesn't matter, Shia, Sunni, they don't care as long as they go after Israel and several other terrorist groups in the Middle East. But for some reason, Democrats are obsessed with giving them money and eliminating sanctions. And now we see the results. We see death, suffering, chaos. And your so-called president, well, he checked out before noon today. And meanwhile, Israeli President or Prime Minister Netanyahu, probably the only leader on the world stage today that has the moral clarity that's needed for just a moment like this. Tonight, he is vowing to protect the world's only Jewish state from these barbaric terrorists who want to push Israel into the sea. Take a look.
Israel is at war. We didn't want this war. It was forced upon us in the most brutal and savage way. But though Israel didn't start this war, Israel will finish it. Hamas will understand that by attacking us, they've made a mistake of historic proportions. We will exact a price that will be remembered by them and Israel's other enemies for decades to come. The savage attacks that Hamas perpetrated against innocent Israelis are mind-boggling, slaughtering families in their homes, massacring hundreds of young people at an outdoor festival, kidnapping scores of women, children, and elderly, even Holocaust survivors. Hamas terrorists bound, burned, and executed children. They are savages. Hamas is ISIS. And just as the forces of civilizations united to defeat ISIS, the forces of civilization must support Israel in defeating Hamas.
Prime Minister Netanyahu, he knows what must be done. Israel will now wage a full-scale war against Hamas, and make no mistake about this, he will win that war. There is no other choice. This is a fight for Israel's survival. And in just the past few minutes, by the way, we have seen explosions now in Gaza City, a little after 4 a.m. their time. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.